because I want.
Where? Trackside?
Yeah. Trackside had 329 entries.
Wow.
And 158 drivers. To put that in perspective, we had 129 drivers. On Saturday.
Yeah.
And 238 entries.
That's a lot of people in that building.
Dude, so we had 100, officially we have 132 pit spaces when we're not trying to make more pit spaces. We have 18 more pit spaces that we can find if we need it for like gnats or something. And of course, what happens is all these people come in and they leave a space between them and the next guy.
Yeah.
So there's all these like single pit spots. Well, nobody, if you come in as a group, nobody wants to pit in a single pit spot. So all of a sudden, Friday night, I had to go scramble for pit space.
Yeah.
And I was like, well I know there's pit spots open. And then I saw how many people were there, and I was like, wow. They're actually really, I mean, there was technically there was 3 spots, but, you know.
Yeah, good luck finding them.
Yeah. There was one right next to me in Emerson.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up. There we go, so I can get in the chat here. Oh, man. So we got a lot to go over. We were going to try to have a guest tonight. It was, we were going to try to have Chad Parks or Tebow on, and they both could not make it.
Yeah. So. It's okay. I told Jared maybe some other time, and I told Chad, he had something come up. I said, oh, there's another one next week, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal.
Not a huge deal. Do you know, did Sutherland run mod?
I have no idea, dude.
Because I'm trying to find. I know Rinderneck made the main. But I'm not sure about Nate. Man, these mains are all over the place. What the heck? Mod Buggy B main. Let me see who's in here. Ah, shoot. I don't know. Alex was in the B.
Yeah, I saw that.
Looks like he just missed the... Oh, my goodness. He missed the bump up, because I think they did bumps, didn't they?
Couldn't tell you.
A 2511.0 to a 2511.4.
Who bumped?
Tom? Not some dude I didn't know. I just changed it on my phone. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, I don't know. Where... I guess I did a bad job of doing... Dude, so yesterday... I don't even remember yesterday.
Dude, it's a blur for me.
Do you remember yesterday?
Not particularly.
So I had to wake up at like 10:30, take Emerson to school to work, and then I had to pick him up at 4. I do not remember anything that happened between 11 and 4.
Yeah. My wife and I had a little bit of miscommunication. I thought she stayed at a friend's house. We don't like they're close friends of ours. Like we'll have dinner with them on Fridays and stuff like that. But they moved to Pawnee City, and that was her best friend when she was in school. And so she went and stayed the weekend out in Pawnee City with them, or Friday night and Saturday. I thought she was coming back to let the dogs out, like on her way there, and she didn't. And the dogs pooped all over the kennel and just poop everywhere. Like when I got home at like 2 or 1 in the morning. I can't remember what time it was because it happened. Literally, I was driving during the time change, I think, and so. My time warped on my way home, and then when I got home, there was poop everywhere, and so I was up until like 3, like cleaning out the kennel, giving him a bath, and then I woke up. Then they woke me up at 8 because they needed to go outside, and I was like, "All right, you gotta go outside. Let's go, man. Let's do this." Like I didn't want any more accidents. I felt so bad for them.
Yeah,
being in the kennel that long, I felt terrible. Like, it's not their fault for going in the kennel. Like, it's my fault or it's our fault because we didn't communicate well enough, I guess. But
right.
Hopefully the dogs don't hold that against me, and they're happy now.
Well, I mean, luckily for me, I got cats. They don't need my help.
We have 2 cats, too.
They don't need my help. Then actually, I do remember that my cat Finn, the fat one, he likes to sleep now in the corner of the couch, but he presses his face like against the couch cushion really hard.
Yeah.
And he never moves, and so sometimes I think he's dead, but he's not. He's just really sleepy. I'll touch him and he'll go, Nyeh. So he was in the exact same spot when I dropped Emerson off at work, and he was at the exact same spot when I picked Emerson up from work.
Yeah.
So he was like me. He just didn't move all day Sunday. I did get to watch a little bit of the F1 race. I never get to watch F1.
Yeah.
It was in Mexico City. It was really good.
I wanted
I
to
don't
watch
know anything about F1 anymore.
Yeah, I've been a little removed too, at least more so than I'd like to be, but it was kind of like after Schumacher retired, the first time or whatever.
Right.
I just kind of quit watching it. That's when everything went from V12s to V10s and V8s, and I was like,
right.
Yeah, they're trying to like slow the cars down.
I still recognize some of the drivers. I just, I don't know. I never have time to watch it, so I never watch it. Actually, I think what happened was, remember when Speed TV was around and you could watch it whenever you wanted to, like they'd replay it at night?
Yeah.
And now they don't do that. Like, I think that's why I don't really watch it anymore.
Daniel Ricciardo is probably the one newer driver that I follow.
He took Bottas out.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And what was it? And Raikkonen. I've always been a Raikkonen fan since him and the guy that ran into the dryer. And we drove for NASCAR for a little bit.
Montoya.
Yeah, Juan Pablo Montoya. Both of them drove for McLaren at the same time.
Right.
And I was always a big Raikkonen fan back then. Like when they had the chrome cars. Those are the good old days. And Williams still can't win a race.
Yeah. So here's
never change.
So here's Trackside. I wanted to go over this real fast because we did have some locals go up there. So Tom Ritternecht finished 10th in Mod 2 wheel, it looks like. Let me see here. Ethan Delaire finished 23rd. Wait, where's Alex? Alex finished 12th. Ethan Delaire finished 23rd. Owen Vanderbeek finished 24th. Nate Sutherland finished 26th. And Mac Vanderbeek finished 28th.
Wow.
And there was
how many entries did they have in
37. And that was in Mod 2 wheel. And then I'm curious about 4-wheel drive. Let me see if I can find it here. Tom Ritternecht was 7th. Vanderbeek was 8th. Good job. Making the main. That's awesome. Nate Sutherland was 16th. Delaire was 17th. Owen Vanderbeek was 20th. And that's it. They had 26 4-wheel drive mods.
Wow.
And then I'm pretty sure Vanderbeek TQ'd around a 40 plus.
Nice.
He ended up finishing 5th. I think that was it in the 40 plus. Man, they had 27 40 plus racers.
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. And
there'd be 3 mains, or
yeah, they did AAA mains.
Or I mean, like they had 3 heats. Of
yeah.
40 plus. That's pretty awesome.
And I think Jason also Rona TQ'd around, and he ended up finishing 3rd. Alan Horn, of course. Brent Telke must not have been there. There would have been the usual suspects in 40 plus. Paul Ciccarello as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 2-wheel drive mod. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. Huge race up there. We had a huge weekend ourselves. There was a RC Pro Series race in Thornhill as well. That was pretty well attended. It was a pretty big weekend of racing altogether. Just across the country, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're doing it again. Aren't you doing it again? Where are you going?
I'm going to Shaw's in Oklahoma with Chad Parks next weekend.
And is that outdoor?
Yeah, it's outdoor, dude. I'm mounting up some sprinters right now. I got some double Ds for my gas truck mounted up right now. Yeah, it's going to be old school, man.
Nice.
So I'm getting my gas truck changed over to outdoor. I filled out a setup sheet just so I I could put my truck back to the way I had it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mess that truck up.
No, it's pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, this is Alex Sturgeon with the Hobbytown HobbyPlex, and I'm manager, race director. With me as always,
Will Brenton.
And this is the HobbyPlex Show podcast. Remember, we stopped doing shows the first Monday of the month, so we skipped last week. That was the first official one that we skipped with that new schedule, because otherwise it ends up being too long of a day for me.
Yeah.
So
understandable.
Yeah. And I don't know. Today there's mostly we're going to talk about our Tekno Winter Series. I wanted to get that Trackside race in because I just knew that some of our locals went up there.
Definitely.
That's
a pretty decent event.
No, it's one of the biggest,
top notch.
One of the biggest off-road races of the year, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
With the Reedy race probably not happening for a while, you basically have the CRC race. That'll be the race that kind of starts off 22 again.
Yeah.
And then for 10 scale electric, I mean, you've got you got that race, and then you've got the Desert Classic at Hobby Action.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the J Concept Series.
Well, the J Concept Series, which we don't know where round one's going to be at yet.
Yeah.
But at least I don't. But I mean, you got our ProTech race, which honestly isn't there yet. I wish it were.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's our big race, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the Nats, and all 4 or 5 INS races. I think there's going to be 4 of them. And then, what's there in the fall? With the Surf City not going to be around, or at least as of right now. I can't even think of anything. Can you?
I don't know.
8
scale races.
Yeah, 8 scale races. That starts up. I mean, that never really ends. Think about that.
No.
Because AMS is next weekend as well.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, there's I think, what's the one they call it in the winter? Is it Wicked Weekend already?
Yes.
I think so. And then
Wicked
Psycho Nitro
Weekend.
Blast.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have so many of them now that I forget the names of them all.
Well,
And of course the Nitro Challenge.
I can never keep them all straight. 1, I haven't been to one yet.
Yeah.
And 2, they're all like abbreviated names. Like there's AMS and P whatever, Psycho,
PNB,
whatever.
Psycho Nitro Blast.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of abbreviations or whatever to keep straight.
Yeah.
Acronyms.
Acronyms. Is it acronyms?
Yeah, a lot of acronyms to try to keep straight for races I've never been to.
Yeah. Before we get started with the Tekno series, just wanted to do a couple of things. First off, did you know that this show is sponsored by Pivot Lending Group?
It is?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, what did they do there at Pivot?
They do home loans and refinances and stuff, and they're also connected with a whole bunch of realtors too. So if you're in the market for a house, you can go find one.
Do they offer any options as far as discounts if I mention the show?
Yeah, it's a $500 lender credit or 0.125 off your interest rate.
Huh, interesting.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, store that in the old memory bank and use that when I need it.
I forget who we're supposed to talk to.
I think there's this guy, David Olson, but his dad, or I screwed that up. There's this kid, Aiden Olson. You're supposed to talk to his dad.
Yeah, Aiden Olson's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Don Zoller.
Yeah, and Don Zoller.
Yeah.
Never met her.
You know what? I don't think I've ever met her in person either.
Huh.
I think the commercial stuff we did early was via Zoom. And then with the refinance that we did was all by email and the app. You can download this app and pretty much do your entire home loan through your phone.
Huh. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yep. The only person we ever talked to in person was the notary. He had a stack of papers like this deep. And we just notarized everything as we went. It was crazy. And then really quick, the HobbyPlex got in a couple new items. So we got in the the 1/8 scale mega infraction, and then
Do they call it the mega infraction?
Well, it's the infraction mega. So the infraction. Oh. So they have 2 cars out. They've got the infraction and the oh god, I'm forgetting the name on the other one. Oh my gosh, it's not. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Anyways, the infraction is brushed, and so all of the Arma brushed cars are called mega. So the brushless one. Hang on, I'm going to get it here in a second. And we have both of them, and we actually got them in kind of early. We're one of the top stores for Horizon, so basically it's part of their premier partnership, whatever they call it, and we end up getting stuff before it's actually out, so people can come in and look at them. So
interesting.
The Vendetta. So we've got the Vendetta and the Infraction. The Vendetta is the brushless one. The Infraction's the brushed, and they went on sale Friday, and we have tons of them. And I looked at the sales yesterday, and we've already sold a couple of them. I thought that was pretty rad. And then, of course, we got the big one. We got the Felony and the big Infractions, too, and the Limitless. And then what else did we get new that was kind of cool and important? I don't even remember. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But that's the main one. Just I'm talking about new products, and that's one of the big ones. We got in some E-Flight, new airplane, and the airplane one I skipped on What's New for some reason. I was dumb, and I forgot about it on What's New. But everything else was in our What's New Wednesday. Oh, we got in a whole bunch of these Kyosho cars. So you know how Kyosho has those touring cars with the really awesome scale bodies on them?
Yeah, what is There's it? Auto scale?
The Chevelle, the El Camino. There was another one. GTO, Pontiac GTO.
Oh, that's cool.
So we've had those in, but then we went ahead and ordered the other ones. I think there's like a Supra, and I think it may be a Subaru or something. A Mercedes. There's another racing Mercedes. We just get those in because they look cool. We used to do the same thing with HPI on-road cars. We just get them in because they look cool. So, and they do. They look really cool. And the cars seem to work pretty good. They're brushed, so they're not crazy fast. You're not going to break stuff. And if you try to break stuff, well, then that's on you, basically.
Yeah.
You know, if you put in if you don't listen to us and you put in a 6,700 kV brushless motor, well, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, you gotta listen.
Yeah, you gotta listen to us. All right, well, let's do it. You want to talk about the Tecno series?
Sure.
Okay. You skipped last year, right?
Yeah.
And the year before that, was that the year you won e-buggy? Or was that 2 years ago?
I can't see the date on my thing. Let me look. I won e-buggy in... Oh, it doesn't say on the thing.
It doesn't?
I think I got the plaque down here.
That would have been my fault.
17 to 18.
17-8. Wow, holy crap.
Yeah. I just have like a box of trophies down here. Like, I haven't put them up yet since I moved downstairs.
So I won. That means that I won e-buggy in 16 and 17.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was sooner than that for some reason.
I did too.
Huh.
So I only skipped a year, but...
Oh. You know what? Mason got me. I ran my Mugen the year after you won e-buggy, and it came down to the last round, and Mason destroyed me and won the points on the last week.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Because I know I won the year before you did with my Losi car. And that was the last year I ran for Losi. And then you won e-buggy on the tie. And then I was winning an e-buggy, and then Mason started getting super fast and just obliterated us at the end of the year. And then I ran...
Just found another gear.
Yeah. And then I didn't run anything the year after that, and I think I ran mini Truggy last year.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you skipped a year. But we both did pretty well, honestly.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good day.
So we had 239 entries. We need to talk about that. I was a little nervous going into this one because I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be a massive turnout.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. I build up a lot of anxiety because I don't want anything to go wrong.
Sure.
You know, and when you have that many entries, I mean, if something goes wrong, the next thing you know, what should be let's say a 16-hour day can quickly turn into an 18-hour day if you're not careful, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And luckily, nothing really kept the show from going. We did have something go wrong, which is the first time that's happened hardly ever.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but it didn't really affect anything, and I learned something too. I'll tell you guys about that here in a minute. But 239 entries. It said 238, but there was one that I must not have clicked paid on. And so there's actually 239. That means we had 129 people. The Plex is set up with regular racing for 132 pit spots. When we do a big race, we move a whole bunch of stuff around. We can have 150 pit spots. So we were pretty close. Also, that I don't think we've ever had that much for any of our weekend nitro races.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
Like, I was thinking back to the J Concepts races, the Byron's races, all those weekend races that we used to do, RC Pro Series. I don't think we've ever had that many for a weekend event. And we knocked out 239 entries in one day.
Yeah, it is pretty badass.
Yeah. And
like if you think about it, like compared to like an electric race, you know, that's normally 3 days or 4 days even.
Yes. And
yep.
I mean, honestly, there's only 7 classes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the summer series is 9 classes, and we never get that many.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me. I mean, so we were done at 12:19. I mean, come on.
That's pretty badass.
That's really good. Like I was when I tallied up all the entries, you know, Saturday morning, and I saw how many there were, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be like 130.
Yeah.
You know, so, but we did 2 things. First off, I cut down some of the main times, and what made me happy about that is nobody complained. Like not one person was like, oh man, what the hell. Like they all get it. Everybody gets it. They're like, yeah, that makes sense, you know? So all the lower nitro mains are only 10 minutes long. We normally do like 15 for the pro for nitro buggy. But we just made it 10. And then we knocked down the Truggy main from 30 to 20. And I think that change will be permanent. I think I don't mind having a 15-minute B main if we got time for it. But like the Truggy main, for instance, I mean, hardly half the field hardly ever finishes a Truggy main anyways. And it's not because nobody's any good. It's just because that's a lot of work for a Truggy to do to stay running.
Yeah.
So I had thought about that even last year. I was like, man, we should just make the Truggy minute. Because like the buggy one, to me, that's the premier class. That should be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless your computer crashes with 6 minutes left to go. But
yeah.
But that one should be 30 minutes. I think Sportsman's good at 20. I think Truggy's good at 20. And it doesn't take any advantage away either because like if you can go 10 minutes on a tank, well, 30 minutes, it would actually, the advantage would get worse. You know? So I didn't see any problem with doing that. And then last year we kind of flirted with the idea of making some of the electric buggy lower mains longer, you know? And I think if we had 100 entries, I don't think that would be a problem. But the rest of the time, it's just we got to go, you know. So I think that helped out a ton. And then the other thing that I did is I was able to eliminate probably 4 mains by making it 9 instead of 8 and bumping 2. So. You know, our track, we used to run at like the Byron's race, we used to run 10 and 2. And with 12 cars, it got a little crazy. 8 scales, you know? You guys in Stadium Truck were different. Plus, I'll tell you why I did that anyways. But with 8 scale, 12 cars is a lot on our track, and I don't like doing that because I want you guys to have fun, clean races. But 11, you can kind of fudge it. And then most of the time, unfortunately, somebody's going to break. So you might have 11 cars for, say, a minute or two, and then the next thing you know, you got 9 or 8.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect anything that bad. And all the starts were mostly good. There was a few really bad ones at the start of the day, but that was just because it's the lower mains, and that's what happens.
Yeah, the Catalina Wagon Mixer begins.
Yeah. There's nothing really wrong with that. It's not like, it's not like nobody's out there crashing into each other on purpose. They're just inexperienced, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think if I stuck to 8, we probably would have been there until 1. Easily. Actually. Yeah. So we just made it work, and then everybody was on time. I don't think I had to wait for maybe once or twice throughout the day, but that was about it.
Beginning of the gas truck main.
Yeah, the beginning. I know.
I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like Jared, never mind. Well, Jared and I were like standing up there, like we're both like, what is going on? Like, and then we look down, like Chad's on the track. Like, what is Chad? Where's Chad's pit guy?
Yeah. You know that meme, the Pulp Fiction meme with Jules, and he's like doing this. That's what Chad looked like. That's totally what Chad looked like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like,
where's my guy at? That's pretty funny. I'm watching this on the replay. This is like delayed by a few seconds. It's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we had, I wanted to show this. So we had a G main, one of my favorite mains, because I get to go G main in expert e-buggy. We had almost 60 expert e-buggies.
A lot of experts.
Yeah, it was like 58 cars. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So we started the A main of Sportsman Nitro at 10:16. No, it would have started right at 10 o'clock. Like right before 10, like 9:55. Because it was done at 10:16. So Sportsman, man. Sportsman's going to be another good year. There's this... these guys are the parity between these guys is pretty close. There's like nobody that just is a ton better than everybody else, John Kinzer blew up his engine on the starter box.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes. So that was one of the ones we were waiting on. The very first race, it looked like they had a bad starter box. And so they were trying like 2 or 3 different starter boxes, and the thing wouldn't turn over. And it broke a connecting rod while on the box. So
too many death revs.
So I don't feel terrible. I mean, I feel bad for him, but I don't feel terrible now for starting without him because there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, like you aren't doing an engine swap. Somebody'd have to give you another car.
Yeah, basically. So with that, your TQ was out of the race before it even started. And Philip Hoke ended up taking the win. But just barely. He finished 0.8 of a second in front of Bill Nichols. And Bill Nichols, if you don't know, is your 40-plus Region 8 Nitro champ. He was at Fastlane in 40-plus. Keith Vanderhyde, who came down from Minnesota, he had a pretty good day, qualified 3rd, just kind of stayed there. Tim Crystal ended up 4th. Logan Prismanis, I think he had a fast car. I just think I don't know what was going on. I think he crashed too many times. But you know what's crazy about Logan is he's doing a lot of this stuff on his own. He doesn't really have his dad's working on his stuff sometimes, but he works for us, and he's really knowledgeable. But a lot of people aren't going to realize this, that Logan won Plex Spec at the Summer Series in like 2007 when he was like 4 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's been a lifelong Plexer, and he was one of the very first Plex Spec champs.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it was when he was very, very young. And I think it was with a rustler. I think he had this like blue rustler, I think is what he raced.
Wonder if he still has it.
You know, that's a good question. They got so many cars.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Dunn finished 6th. Devin Wright finished 7th. Eric Wunschel was 8th. Tyler Studer made the main, finished 9th. And then, like I said, John Kinzer didn't start. So kind of lame. But, I mean, still got a TQ point, so it's not going to be terrible. Hang on a second. I got a special surprise for myself.
Surprise.
See if I can get this on the mic. I think I heard it. Kind of sounds like you're clipping stuff when it went.
Oh, punching holes in inserts.
So I'm treating myself today with a Smirnoff Ice screwdriver. It's one of my favorites. Because I can't find Henry's Hard Soda anymore.
Huh. Henry, get out of the soda hard business.
That stuff was so awesome that, I mean, I could drink that for days because it doesn't really taste like there's any alcohol in it, even though there is. Anyways, dude, like, this is the next best thing. And I didn't want to stop and get a kickstart, so this is all I had at my house that was cold.
Mm-hmm.
And Gretchen was yelling at me. She's like, "You're not going to drink that on the way there." I'm like, "Of course I'm not going to drink it on the way there."
You're like, "Don't tell me what to do. I'm grabbing a roadie."
Okay. All right. So here we go. We're going to get this out of the way. So the Expert Nitro A main. So today, well, I'll tell everybody what happened. So we're running the races. Everything's going fine. I always like to get the 2 buggy mains out of the way, and I really enjoy having Sportsman because the way we set it up is, hang on, the Sportsman guys can marshal for the Expert guys. So in that regard, because it used to be when we didn't have Sportsman and Expert, I remember years past where it was a struggle to get people to marshal in the mains. Like I used to run the Expert A main last because I was like, oh, it's the Expert A main. They should run last because it's a premier class. But because they ran last, hardly anybody was left except pit guys. And so it was always a struggle bus to get marshals. I mean, it really was. It was really frustrating. So one of the reasons why I added a Sportsman class was that I felt like because the entries were getting so high, I'm like, well, now we can split it up, and I don't think that it's going to interfere, but also now I got marshals, you know? So everything was going right. Everything was going the way it was supposed to. And right after the final pit spot started to happen, my computer crashed.
Yeah.
It popped up and it said Windows has encountered a problem and needs to restart. And I was announcing the race, and I looked back to like check the gap or something. I saw that, and I'm just like, "Oh no, you got to be kidding me!" And I sat there and I looked at it for a second, and I'm like, "Well, what do I do?" And that's when I just announced, I'm like, "Guys, we have to stop the race." You know, I knew who was top 3, and I also know that with live time, you can go in and you can find the time of the start of the race, and then you can play with the end time to get the laps. So it's not like I would have lost the final results anyways, but just the fact that we weren't able to complete the 30-minute race really bummed me out. And we never have computer problems. This is the first one I can remember. For me, I am so intent on us having a professional, efficient race program that I've gone out of my way. Like, I bought this computer. This is my computer. I bought it specifically to run races. It cost $1,000, and I bought it with my own money because I wanted to have that. Because back when Windows 8 was still around, like our club race computer was on Windows 8. And Windows 8 sucked. It was really unstable, and stuff would always go wrong. Before the Windows 10 update, we actually did have a problem at a Tecno Series race with the scoring computer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm running the same computer now that I was back then. So our club race computer is actually older than this, and I bought this in 2017. But because it's on Windows 10, it is it's way more stable.
Yeah.
So, I probably could run it for our big races, but I still don't want to because I bought this computer knowing that it was a much more powerful, capable computer. Well, I bought this in 2017. I had to go back and look because I forgot. And I was like, oh my gosh, this computer is 4 years old.
Yeah.
And my history with laptops is it seems like almost every 4 years I got to get a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I have a plan. So, but besides that, so I learned something new though. So it restarted, and then I clicked on Lifetime. It opened it up, and there was a little pop-up that said, "It looks like you were in the middle of a race when something happened. Would you like us to bring the race back up so that you can finish it?" And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, of course." So I clicked yes. Well, then what happened was it showed how much time was left, which was pretty close. It was like 6 minutes. And then everybody started crossing the line that was still out there that couldn't hear me or didn't stop, and their laps counted. So if that ever happens again, I'm not going to have anybody stop. I'm going to announce that I'm in the middle of something. Give me a second, but keep going. Everybody's still racing. And if it does ever happen again, I know that Lifetime's got it programmed so that it can catch back up.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I can do is I can let the time expire. I can go into the database. I can go into edit race. I can find the time, and I can have this thing recalculate it to get all the laps correct.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that. I didn't know that until this time. So that's something. I mean, honestly, with Lifetime, I learned something new with Lifetime because it's such a powerful scoring program. Mm-hmm. I learn something new about that system almost every time I use it. Or if there's a problem, I learn from it,
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll never happen again. But if it does, at least I know that now we can do that. We can do that. But also, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do from now on. So tomorrow, I'm taking everything to the Plex. I'm going to hook everything up, and I'm going to hook up the club race computer, and I'm going to put it in parent-child mode like we do at Roar races.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what'll happen is everything that the main computer does, the backup computer will also do. So when you cross, you're supposed to have a redundant loop as well. If you really want to do it this way, you should have a redundant loop. So you have two separate loops, two separate computers, but they're both doing stuff at the same time. But you can also just because honestly, I can't even think of the last time we had a problem with the loop. With the actual scoring box. Knock on wood. But as long as that's plugged in, both your computers can pick up that same one. So if something does happen to the main computer, your backup computer is still running, still scoring stuff. So I'm gonna hook everything up, and I'm gonna refresh my memory on how to do it because I haven't done it since I've done a Roar race, which was 2018, I think, something like that. So from now on, that's what we're gonna do at all of our big events. And it's something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and I've been like, I got my super awesome computer, it'll be fine. And then this happens. So, yes, so we got that going for us. So, that being said, you had Mason and Jared, who were, for the most part, about 5 seconds apart for a majority of this race. They were nose to tail. I think Jared actually dropped a pretty good pass on Mason. And then Mason got it back after a bobble from Jared. And then something happened where Jared needed a marshal, and then that was 5 seconds, and then that gap kept going back and forth. Mason finally made a mistake, and they were nose to tail again. And then something else happened, and then the pit stops happened, and then the computer thing happened. So when that happened, I went through and I found when the laps started getting funny. So I went into the computer and I followed the race until you could tell that something was up and people were slowing down or stopping altogether.
Yeah.
And so then I scored the previous lap, and then I finished the race there.
Mm-hmm.
So Mason Fuller, I got at 58 laps, with 22 minutes in. Jared Tebow, I got at 58 laps at 22:06 for second. Mitchell Gardner finished third, and was doing. He was kind of in no man's land. He was a lap behind and a lap ahead, but I mean, just the fact that you don't. I mean, I don't think Mitchell's raced that much.
No, he just kind of showed up out of nowhere and
Yeah.
started racing for podiums.
Yeah. So that's just kind of what he does. Ashton Abdul qualified third, finished fourth, 56 laps. And then Bradley and Mason were involved in a very close race for fifth and sixth. And I kind of used them to narrow down what I thought was going on when the crash happened. So I have Bradley Peterson fifth at 22 laps, 10 seconds. I'm sorry, 55 laps, 22 minutes, 10 seconds. And I have Mason at 55 laps, 22 minutes and 11 seconds. Because the thing is the next lap, Mason's a lap ahead all of a sudden. So that's when Bradley came in and stopped. So that's what I have. Lars Johnson came with the Colorado group, qualified seventh, finished seventh. Graham Hill got the bump and finished eighth. Jackson Anderson was ninth. Mitchell Pavel was 10th, also getting the bump. And then Chris Morant didn't start, and I never really got an idea. I didn't understand what... I
think he broke it. I think I saw that he broke an arm.
Oh, okay.
Because
I felt bad. I felt bad starting without him, but I was like, well, I mean, we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I'm not saying that it would have finished this way, because I mean, I think Jared got a little closer after that last pit stop, but unfortunately, I had no way to tell what was going on because the computer had done its thing.
Yeah.
So there's a first time for everything. Again, I feel really bad, and I apologize to everybody. But like you said, nobody thought it was my fault, which is good. I
don't think anybody would say like, "Oh, Alex made the computer crash."
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
And you can go back and watch So from now on, we're going to do live stream two ways. So we got the Live RC live stream, and then we've got my the HobbyPlex Show YouTube channel live stream, and I'm just going to do the A mains on the YouTube channel live stream because I'm using my phone. So you go back and listen to me. I'm like devastated. All of a sudden I'm super happy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, oh no, oh no, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is what it is, and like I said, we're gonna get it. We'll learn from it and move on. Mini Truggy was next. So Drew Rubin King was running his VT64, and he was really picking up that truck as it went. So like in practice, he looked like crap, and then first round of qualifying, he looked pretty good. Second round of qualifying, he looked better, and then the main, he just sort of drove away from everybody. He didn't really crash a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Logan Prismanis had a horrible day of qualifying, got the bump, and then ended up finishing second, and he was coming for him. If there would have been more time,
mm-hmm.
Logan could have caught Drew.
Really?
I think if he had another minute, because he was clicking out, he was knocking out like half a second a lap there at the end. So, and then Dane Gangler hadn't raced all summer, and he finishes third. Kyle Quast from the 8th to the 4th spot. John Haas was 5th. Bryson Pavel 6th. Aaron Albert 7th. Keith Vanderhyde 8th. TJ Williams finished 9th. Nick Poppenfuss was 10th. And then Emerson Sturgeon pulled off 6 minutes in. He was he drove like a donkey.
Yeah.
And he didn't listen to me. I told him to put those gold tires that I broke in on Friday. I told him to put them on his truck, and he refuses. He puts on those Baldies that he got where there's hardly any material left on them.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, dude, you're not going to like your truck. You're going to hate it. It's going to be super.
What do you know, Dad?
Yeah, it's going to be super inconsistent, and it's going to grab parts of the track that you don't want to get grabbed and all that. So you should put on these, drive it more consistent. Don't drive out of control. Put these tires on. Trust me. He didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched him. He was like, he did one of those things where he was mad, so he just gassed it, and his truck just started doing whirly birds or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I knew it, but whatever. It's his truck, so he's got to learn from it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there's that. Good start to that one. We might run Emerson with nitro next round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got an engine now, courtesy of Pat Volker, and I just got to get it hooked up. Okay, so gas truck. So there was 12 of you, and because you guys are 10th scale and we're using the whole track, I'm like, well, I'm just going to put all 10 of you or 12 of you in the main.
Yeah.
Well, then we actually had 13 because Jason Haley had just arrived.
Yeah.
So there was 13 of you, and part of me was like, ugh. But then here's the thing, not to sound mean or anything, but the chances of all 13 trucks making it the first 5 minutes, probably pretty low. The way that everybody was breaking stuff. We had like 2 trucks breaking warm up.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll be all right. We'll be fine. So we did end up with all 13 trucks running. But I think there was 3 trucks out in the first 5.5 minutes. So it ended up being kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
So it was what it was. And then Andrew Reynolds had to go home, and so he let Jared Tebow borrow his truck for the main.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I was sitting in my pit.
Yeah.
And he comes over because he broke a axle. Like, I ran into a truck full tilt and down the straightaway that was flipped over, and I didn't break anything on my truck.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can break anything on these. But anyway.
I saw a lot of rear hubs. Rear hubs.
But how is that different than an electric, though?
It's not. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I saw.
But anyway.
Or ball cups. Maybe it was ball cups popping off.
I broke a ball cup because an 8 scale pushed my car across the track.
Right.
During practice.
At least it wasn't a Traxxas Max.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't a Trax Max.
Yeah.
But anyway, like when who was it? Alex? Is that his name? Who is the kid?
What kid? What are we talking about?
Let Tebow borrow his truck.
Oh, Andrew.
When Andrew came over and was like, "Hey, do you have an axle?" I was like, or Chad was like, "Yeah, I do. Why? I thought you had to go." And he was like, "No, Tebow's gonna borrow my truck." I went, "Damn it!" Like I was like all happy, like working on my truck, putting tires on it. Yeah, Tebow's gonna borrow my truck.
Okay, well,
son of a bitch.
To put this into perspective, so this one time in Lincoln, this one time at the East Park Carpet Track, okay, there was a big weekend race. I can't remember what it was called, but I TQ'd 12 scale.
It was the regionals.
Was it regionals? Okay,
yeah, I was there.
I TQ'd 12 scale. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I was so happy, and I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome. And then Sunday morning, Kyle Gannon shows up. And because there was only 9 12 scales, they put him in the A main. So he didn't qualify at all. He just showed up, started 10th in the A main, and within like 3 laps had taken the lead. and then lapped me like 4 times. Okay. And I was so pissed off. I was like, gosh darn it. I put in all this work all weekend. I'm TQ. I got a good shot to win this thing. And that guy over there, who we all know is faster than me, he's the 12 scale god of Nebraska. He shows up without doing any work whatsoever, throws down his car, and wins the damn thing. And that's what I was thinking about you. I was like, not to take anything away from you. Let me put this. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to throw shade at you in any way, shape, or form. But I was like, oh, Tebow's gonna run it.
It is the equivalent, though, right?
Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, so like Tebow won every gas truck race.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
basically.
Almost.
Yeah, basically. So like like the AE team was undefeated in gas truck throughout the time that there was Roar Nationals for gas truck.
Yeah.
They never lost a Roar National ever. And I think Tebow's got at least, 5 or 6 of those?
He won all of them.
Did he win all of them?
He won all of them.
Really?
Yeah. He won all of them.
I thought Saxton would have won a couple.
I don't think so. I think that with, like, I think the I don't know. That's what, because I asked Jason one time, like, if Jason Rhoda, that is, I asked him, I was like, do you think there'd ever be like a gas truck class like recognized by Roar again, like on a big level? He's like, no, we already had gas truck nationals. Jared won all of them.
Right.
And I just thought he won them all, but yeah, I believe he won.
Well, I know,
like, it's his class.
Yeah, it's his class, but I also know that I know for a fact that Losi never won any of them. I know that.
No, you can't beat the GT. Don't you remember those ads?
Yeah, it was to the GT and then the GT2 towards the end there, and that was it. But I think Drake maybe TQ'd the Nats, because remember they had the Adam Drake TQ edition, and it was the different shock tower in the back, and it was like the final version of the Triple XNT or whatever. It wasn't the Drake edition. There was an Adam Drake edition too, and it had like this TQ package or something like that. Anyways.
Yeah.
So but I was sitting there going.
I used to look at those RC car action ads, going like, "Oh, you can't beat the GT, can you?" Like when I was a kid. Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No, I was like, oh man, like, well, he is. I was like, well, he's starting 10th, so he's got to drive through all these different guys, and then I think he was in 3rd by the first lap or something.
It
was something.
Like, it didn't matter.
It was something
he was
crazy.
Just right on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he had to battle Chad for a little bit, and then he dropped a dime on Chad pretty easily, and then basically you had to hold him off.
Yeah, he did pass me at one point.
Yeah, but I think truck started to get goofy on him too.
Well, it wasn't. It was okay. So, literally, like, Jared was way faster than me.
Oh yeah,
easily, like hands down.
Well, that truck had so much rip, and yours didn't. Yeah. I mean, you could see that, like, your truck was very smooth and consistent, and you were able to do the double triple, and that was for a gas truck. That's the most important part of that track. But the truck that he was driving just had buttloads of rip out of the corners, and I mean, he was able to gain anytime that you had a lead. He was able to gain on you in certain spots on the track, like coming onto the straightaway, for instance, through that little chicane.
Yeah,
coming out of there, he just had so much more rip than you did.
My engine fattened up on me big time, like before the main, and like I can't ask Jackson to try to tune my bottom end. You know, it's like he doesn't know he wouldn't know where to find it on that engine. Yeah. So it's like, it is what it is. I was trying to womp on it harder, and hopefully it'll heat up. Yeah. And kind of lean out a little bit, but yeah. No, he got around me and made a little mistake, and then I'd get a little bit of a little breathing room, and he'd suck that right up. Anytime I made like the smallest, like blowing a corner by a half a car width, I mean, you could just see it. Like every time I made it, and he did not give anything back, and then he'd be right on me again, and then something had happened. So it's like I'd hold him off, and then like he might like crash or flip over or something. And then I had a 7 or 6 second lead going into pit, and like Jackson, like, thanks for pitting me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that car crashed in front of you guys.
Well, I also had the world's slowest pit. Oh. I come in, and then Jared comes in right behind me, and like I'm like, what is taking? It's just like a second feels like an hour. Yeah. You know, and it's like, what is taking so long? And then he goes to put my car down, and then Jared's goes down right behind me, and I go, oh God. Like, and Jared's standing right next to me, and like while we were racing, he was like, I'm coming for you, Will. I was like, I know, I'm pedaling as fast as I can, dude. Like I'm trying to go. But
towards the end of that race, that truck started to do weird stuff. When I think the throttle, it started to twist on him.
Yeah, I believe he blew a diff. Yeah. But yeah, and that truck that was flipped over in pit lane,
Yeah,
was definitely a great equalizer for both of us.
Yeah.
So, no, it was a race I'll remember for a long time. You know, that was really cool.
And I mean, I put in my Facebook post, I said, congrats to Will Brinton for the turnout because, you know, the thing is Tecno doesn't make a two-wheel drive gas truck, obviously. And so, and we're kind of picky about the classes we choose. Like we don't have Truggy, you know, and we don't have a Sportsman Truggy class because there's never been enough entries to require it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The main, it just sort of works itself out in the mains. We don't have a 40 plus nitro class. And most of the reasons for that is simply due to time. We're trying to do one race. We're trying to do qualifiers, bump ups, nitro mains, which are longer, all in one day. So we can't have 8, 9, 10 classes. We just can't unless you guys want to run one qualifier. How much fun is that? You know?
Nah.
So, you know, taking away Pro 4 and adding gas truck, it was a decision I made over the summertime. And the reason why we added gas truck was because it is a nitro class, and also Ignite RC agreed to give away a kit.
Yeah.
You know, if there was no kit, I would have been like, can't do it because there's got to be an incentive to run the series.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you guys had 12 trucks for most of the day and a 13th truck at the end. I mean, that was really good. You know?
Yeah, no, it was.
If you would have had maybe two more trucks, or maybe even one more, there would have been a 7 and 6 qualifier, like an extra qualifier.
Yeah.
But we just ran all 12 of you in a qualifier, and it worked out fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, I mean, that being said, you know, you got a TQ and a win, and it doesn't say it, but technically Jared Tebow got second. Shows Andrew Reynolds, but we'll fix that. Chad Parks was third. Chad Parks, the owner of Ignite RC.
Yeah.
The designer of the truck, so he gets podium up there. Mitchell Gardner had a really good day qualifying and ended up finishing fourth. Wade Gehring, you and him have been really working hard to get those trucks good. And so he scores the top 5 for all that work.
Yeah.
Honestly, his truck looked really good.
Yeah, no, he did really well. Like, I was really impressed and proud of him, you know, because there's like some Sundays. It's like I was like, I'm going up to the track. He's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, hey, if you want to get your stuff good and do well this winter, this is the time that now is when you put the time in to have a good baseline setup that you can drive.
Yeah,
and just show up and run and not have to worry about setup. He's like, okay, I'll come. And, you know, he did that a couple of actually, I think 4 different times with me.
Yeah.
So,
West Miravalli finished 6th. Jake Stolzing was 7th. Aaron Kuhn was 8th. Jason Haley, with no practice, no qualifying, finished 9th.
Nice. Jason Haley's local too.
Yep. Lucas Baker was 10th. Brian Kiever was 11th. Austin Schaefer was 12th. And Philip Hoke was 13th. Those bottom 3 guys did break out kind of early. Jason Haley, Wade Garrett, and you were the gas truck guys at the truck series this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some extra time in there too.
Yeah, now, like, hopefully guys come to this series and, you know, even if it's from, you know, south or wherever, they get a nice experience at the track and kind of know what it's made of. Like, hey, this is a pretty pleasurable experience just to come and run your gas truck at our track. So maybe this summer we'll see more coming in.
So then we had not gas truck. We had Truggy, and I was after the computer thing, man. I was holding my breath for those last 2 nitro mains, for your main and for this one, because I was like, man, what if something happens again? You know.
Mm-hmm. That was one reason why I wanted to stay ahead of Jared as much as possible. So if the computer did go down, I was scored in first place.
Great.
I was thinking about that too.
So the last 4 years, maybe 3 years, Greg Baumel and Jeremy Whiting have pretty much been at the top of Truggy. So you had Greg Baumel, Jeremy Whiting, and then Zach Van Dalen the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And Greg actually won. I got to look at my pictures, but Greg won last year's champ whereas Zach won the previous year. But those three had been at the top. Well, I mean, Zach wasn't here. So you had Greg and Jeremy, they swapped. So Jeremy got a TQ, but he finished second. Greg got a qualified second, but finished first. So they traded 100-point scores. Shelby Parker from Colorado finished third. And then here's Logan again. Logan Prismanis was fourth. And again, he was coming, man. He had a fast truck. Like, he was there. Chris Morant, I believe, had a flame out about midway through and ended up fifth. Otherwise, he would have been up there too. Parker Clemming had a great run. He bumped up from the B, finished sixth. Jared Stokes finished seventh. Bill Nichols was eighth. Armand Charland was ninth, and Robert Rinaldi was 10th. So a good start to Nitro Truggy. Kind of the usual suspects in that class. Logan Prismanis is new as of this year. He's never ran a Winter Series before, so he's kind of the local hope right now. Then we get into finally the electric stuff. And again, dude, so Sportsman, I believe, had like 50 cars. And Expert had almost 60. So, I mean, good Lord. There's a lot of electric buggies. Can you think how much money is sitting in the pits on a race day?
Dude, I think about it all the time when I leave my stuff there overnight.
I mean, think about that, though. They're at $1,000 a piece, right?
Yeah.
Minimum. It's more like $1,500 a piece. You had almost 100 8 scales.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. You had almost 100 electric 8 scales, right?
Mm-hmm.
At $1,000. So that's $100,000, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. And that's not even thinking about the nitro stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy to think about.
And all the other equipment.
Which is a good, I mean, the nice thing about the Plex is it's kind of a fortress. So, but also, that's why we don't leave our stuff in our cars when we're staying places. That being said, I don't know why I brought that up, but it just boggles my mind sometimes how much.
Well, it's kind of a nice reminder, like, hey, when you come, don't leave your stuff in your vehicle.
Yeah.
Even
in our parking lot.
Yeah.
Because those scumbags are watching our Facebook going, oh my God, they're having a huge Tecno race. Let's go check all the cars.
Dude, I've heard of guys at the just at, like, when they'd have a Heart of America series or even like Aurora Nationals here in Lincoln at the on-road track, like somebody'd be walking by and somebody left their car sitting on the table to warm up, and somebody walking down the bike path would walk over and grab their car while it's running and walk off with it. Yeah.
So you do got to watch that.
Okay,
enough of that. Stop talking about that. Sportsman, we had Keith Vanderhyde taking the win. And then this is why I like the Sportsman class so much, because these are the regular. It's kind of like our independent class. It is our independent class. What am I saying? We just don't call it independent on the 8 scale side of things, but that's basically what it is. For our Sportsman classes, you can't have any sponsors. If you're sponsored by, give me one. What's a fun sponsor name you could be sponsored by?
Bob's Basement lug nuts and screws.
Yeah. Or Pete's Pistons. Pete's packing pistons. Like you can't.
Pete's bottom pack piston pumper accessories.
Anyways, so these are all just regular guys, and there was a lot of them. But they're
strong, independent drivers that don't need no man to sponsor them.
That's right.
That's what I always say on the microphone over I know it's independent races.
John Haas qualifying second, finishing second. Wade Gehring got the TQ but finished third. Tyler Canine was fourth. That's that kid from Des Moines. That's coming with those guys now. Tyler Fleming was fifth. Philip Hoke was sixth. Bryson Pavel seventh. Nick Poppenfuss was eighth. Nick Sneathen was ninth. Tyler Studer was 10th, and Tim Crystal, I think he broke out, ended up finishing 11th.
No.
So Vanderhyde got the lead at lap 3, and that was that. It was over after that. And then Expert, our last race of the night. We started this race so much earlier than I thought we were going to. I was so happy. Mason Fuller got the win. Jared got the TQ. So they traded 100. So they both have 100 points after today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if either of these two are going to race the full series.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a couple of our Tekno series races that land on some of those big events that they're going to all travel to. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do the whole thing this year. I wish I could schedule around that stuff, but I kind of try to keep our Tekno series consistent year to year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of always kind of the first Saturday of the month, except for December. And the reason why I did that this year, if you'll notice, my birthday is December 3rd.
Yeah.
I wanted a birthday weekend to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time it ever changes is if somebody gets married.
That too. Yeah, exactly.
Which happened to me or us.
Yeah. So Mason Fuller with the win, Jared Tebow with the second. They didn't lap me, so I finished sixth. They didn't lap me until the very, very, very end.
I don't think I did get lapped.
You didn't get lapped because I was the last one to get lapped by him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I had a few opportunities to move over from Mason, and I'm like, I think I'm just going to keep going because I was trying to chase you down, and I was like, I'm just going to keep going, and then if he gets really close to me, then I'll let him go. And he finally got really close to me, and I finally let him go. But that was I think it was the very last lap, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Mason Herrick getting a third.
Yeah.
So Mason continues to improve and to start to make podiums and stuff. So he's from the Wichita Hutchinson area.
Yeah, we had a pretty good race for third there for probably half the race.
Man, I was pretty bummed out because there was a bunch of cars that crashed in front of me. I qualified 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, I was in 5th, and I was pretty close to everybody. And then I rewatched this race on the live stream, and I think lap 5, I rolled it at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah.
And I didn't need a marshal, but that's all it took to make it so I couldn't catch back up to you guys.
Yeah.
And then Ashton, I think, was the one that crashed.
Yeah.
Because I had to fight him off for a few laps, and then finally I was just like, well, he got me. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he got me at the last corner, the last lap, or something like that, and
yeah.
I think my tires got too low. Like they're so low that you can see the carcass coming through the other side. My fronts were that way, and that thing was so like edgy at the end. And since I was running slicks pretty much, it would just like going off a jump. Sometimes it would squid out on like the dust and stuff, like the tire dust that kind of builds up on the track. So I feel like I probably should have mounted up a fresher set of tires for the main.
Yeah.
I think it would have been really good.
See,
it would have just been perfect.
For these races, man, I just mount one set of tires.
Yeah. Well, and I think I practiced too much with my e-buggy. Yeah. I think I ran it like 6 times.
I ran. So did you know, I was mentioning this in the, we'll get to the results here in a second, but I was mentioning this in practice. I never actually raced e-buggy on the Ellipse tire until this weekend.
Yeah.
Last year, the last run, nobody had any ellipses in stock, so I had to run my gold dirt webs that I had lying around.
Mm-hmm.
And I mounted up those brand new and ran those. And then when we started up here in the fall again, those last 3 weekends that we raced, I was on gold dirt webs again.
Huh.
And then I got in my stuff from J Concepts, and then the store got in a bunch of them too. And I finally mounted up a pair, and Friday was the first time I've ever driven with them, and I was like, this is like cheating.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And I was like, I think I'm done practicing. I don't want to ruin these or mess. And my car was really good, even though I knew the grip would change and it would more than likely get higher. So I did practice again that night at like 9 o'clock and still was really good. So then I just left it alone.
Yeah, I kept changing stuff on my car. It got better every time.
Yeah, I talked to Tebow after the race. He looked at my car and was like, why are you running this and this and this? And I was like, I don't know, because that's what was in the book.
Yeah, I don't know. What should I run, sir?
Yeah, so I might be changing some stuff for this Friday.
Yeah, change it.
Okay, so Ashton finished 4th. He was all the way down at one point. I think he was, where was he? Dude, he was dead last on the first lap.
Yeah.
And then he had to work his way all the way back up. And yeah, he got you on the very last lap.
Mm-hmm.
You were fourth for a majority of that race until the very end when you got fifth. I was actually in eighth, right where I qualified for a majority of that race after I rolled it. But James crashed, and then Jackson crashed soon after that, and I was able to get by both of them. And I only finished 4 seconds behind you.
Yeah.
And the parity there, if you look at the lapse time, I mean, you and I were pretty close.
Who had the faster lap? Did you?
You did, of course. But
I did.
Yeah, but there is no.
What was my fast lap?
Hang on, I'll tell you. Your fast lap was a 22.3. I think my fastest was a 22.7. But your average top 10 was 22.5, and my average top 10 was a 22.7. So I was just a tick slower. But close, pretty good. But close enough to be within sight of you. I mean, I saw you, and I was.
Yeah, I also crashed a lot.
Really hard. Really hard. That one crash. That's all it took. Otherwise, I would have been battling for fourth with you guys.
I was trying to get by Herrick, and he was holding such good tight lines, like I had to like try to force a pass on him, and I wasn't gonna run into him, but I was trying to pass him going up that ski jump, like to the 180 and then the uphill, the whatever, and then every time I tried to do it like close to the pipe, my car would come off like this. I think my tires are just so low that I just didn't have that drive with tread to keep my car headed straight. And I was just trying to jump on the inside of that 180 and claim that corner, and I just couldn't get it done. I had 2 tries. I was able to try it twice. That was like the only spot that I could, because even coming on the oval, I was like, oh, let's get him on the oval, no big deal. And then like the time we come down the oval, he's like next to the pipe, and I was like, well, I don't know. I try him on the outside the next lap, or I could try the ski jump again. Yeah. And I tried the ski jump again.
This track was very good.
Oh, it was by far my favorite.
Like the layout wise, just for racing, was very, very good.
You know, it was great for both classes or both scales of cars.
Yeah.
10 scale truck and
a bunch of really good passing spots too. And then pretty good marshalling spots for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, that's always my first thing I think of is where are people going to marshal where they're not going to get killed. So, I finished 6th. You know, honestly, I'll take that. Qualifying 8th, finished 6th.
Anything ahead of Jackson's all right.
Yep. James, speaking of, James Ham finishing 7th, and Jackson Anderson finished 8th. And then Ruben King finished 9th, and Brandon Carney finished 10th. That was his, I believe, first time running e-buggy at our track at least, and he made the main out of 60 cars. So that's
he did really well. I was impressed with Brandon.
And that's that. That was a big race weekend. We get to do it again December 11th. More than likely, it's going to be a little colder out. I'm hoping. You know, the last couple of years we've gotten really lucky with weekend weather for this series. There was one year where like January and February were like 0 degrees out.
Yeah,
and that was rough. Those are rough. Those aren't my favorite times to be there. But we still do it. I get the feeling everybody knows what they're in for, so they don't really care that much.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even notice it. Like when I look back and remember the races, like and how cold it was. Like I don't remember how cold it was. I just remember racing.
Right. Yeah. I can see that.
And really, once you get on the driver's stand in that building, even though the doors are open, it's not too bad.
No, because the way that building is built, the driver's stand gets all the heat. It's just marshalling for 30 minutes. It sucks.
Yeah.
So,
bundle up,
buckaroos. Okay. Do you want to do a pivot break and then we'll get to comments and wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I need a pivot break.
All right. Go enjoy your pivot break.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yeah.
This is a pivot lending update with David Olson and Don Zoller. Get some.
This is David Olson with Pivot Lending Group. Today is May 10th, 2021, and we are going to be talking about temporary financing. Pivot Lending Group works with several credit unions, community banks, across the Midwest and on the West Coast, soon to be on the East Coast, that we're teaming up with to have an alternative to your traditional bridge mortgage. In a bridge situation, you would be purchasing your future home as well as retaining your departing property for a short period of time until that property sells. And on your home that you'd be purchasing, you would have long-term financing. And then once your loan on the home that you sell gets paid off, then everything's a wash. Great programs, tons of great bridge programs out there. The downside to a traditional bridge is you end up in a situation for potentially 1 or 2 months, maybe longer than that, of having 2 mortgage payments. You have the mortgage payment on the property that you're purchasing, and then you still have the mortgage payment on the property that you bridged out to help you with that purchase. Teaming up with our financial institutions, credit unions, and the community banks on the temporary side, we can come in, lend the money to purchase the new home, and then bundle everything together on your primary house that you're selling, on the new home, and put it into just one master note. And then you have 1 monthly payment on that master note. And potentially you can even have deferred payment to the end of the term, the short-term term, until that house is sold. So really excited about that. Gives you guys opportunities to come in and to put yourself ahead of the line with some of the other buyers, because you can come in, contract quickly without a lot of additional conditions or requests with the seller. Makes you really, really attractive. There are some things that you have to have in order to qualify for it. You know, obviously equity is a big one, pretty strong credit and those sorts of things. If you have any questions on that program, feel free to give me a call, 402-881-5951, and we can walk you through and show you the differences between a traditional bridge loan and temporary financing.
David Olson, NMLS 16099. Don Zoller, NMLS 277589. Pivot Lending, NMLS 109995.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
I just got a text from Gretchen, and if John Haas is on here, this would be a good time to chime in here. She says, I fed Hydra, that's our bearded dragon, 15 of those giant worms and gave her a bath. She puffed her throat out more than I've ever seen, like really, really, really big. Should I be worried about her doing that? Then she texts like 1 minute later. Also, do they swim? Bearded dragons have to swim, right? They can swim.
I'm no expert.
I've given her a bath, and she'll sit there and kind of simmer.
Purr?
And then when she wants out, she just like starts going all over the place. I got yelled at today.
Why?
I left a bunch of dishes in the sink.
I forgot all about that. Yeah. Alex enjoys dirtying dishes and leaving them in the sink just as much as making a meal.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of it. Oh man, I can't wait to make some macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna dirty a bowl every time I get a bowl. Like, new bowl every time.
It's one of the predictabilities about being married is that I know that if I make anything, if I cook anything, and I mean I clean up a little bit, I like run water through it, and then I just leave it in the sink.
You do it. You do some, yeah. You do a little.
I'm surprised she didn't text me about that.
That would be funny, especially because we were just talking about that.
Well, because
yesterday.
one of the things that I do, one of the things that I do is I switch spoons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll have one spoon that I use for mixing the macaroni and cheese, but I don't want to eat with that spoon. So I take the spoon and I just sort of set it in the sink, and I open it up and I grab another spoon, the one that I actually want to eat it with, and then I eat that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to tell you. It's the little things in life.
Yeah.
So John Haas says that his does that too. So there you go. Okay. Well, we can get to the comments and go from there.
Do we have many?
No, not really. Not really. Hey, here's a tip, by the way. If you show up to a racetrack and they're clearly practicing, probably not a good idea to take your X-Max or whatever out there and start smashing into everybody.
Yeah, and going backwards on the track. And
yeah,
I mean, it happened.
No, that's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't be surprised if people start saying stuff to you, like the race director.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, probably not a good idea to do that right now. Like, we have open track days, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, where you can more than welcome to come in.
How are we supposed to know that?
Well, I guess you should ask. I would ask.
Yeah.
Like, if I went to a place that I'd never been before I started monster jamming on stuff and everybody, I would actually find somebody and ask, hey, can I run right now? And,
yeah, can I monster jam right now?
And if you're told no, then you should probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, well, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
So.
I know better than the guy that operates this thing.
Yeah, we're way better. Or if you get asked if you had paid and your response is, we're supposed to pay? Like, that should be the end of it right there. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
You guys are getting paid?
Yeah, you have to pay to use something?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And you're like, well, money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Right. Yeah, this giant place that is really expensive is a good or service.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay for. Okay, here we go. Travis Clancy, Alex, Will, and John. Nice run Saturday. Just watched the mains. Will, congrats on the winning gas truck. That was Travis Clancy.
Thanks, buddy.
Rob the Mouth Millen is like, all right, I made the live show. And
yeah.
John says he never even left his house yesterday. That's kind of how I felt. I was such a day. Like, I kind of remember yesterday, but not really. And then when I woke up today, I was like a whole new person.
Yeah.
Oh, and I had the craziest dream last night. You want to hear it?
Was I in it?
No.
I guess
Okay.
I'll hear it. I'll listen.
It's kind of bizarre. So apparently, this is gonna be really hard because it's kind of not really. It's not raunchy in any way, but it's just really weird. There was this like fraternity that grabbed elementary school kids and like made them wear white sheets, and not the KKK, by the way. Just white sheets, and like made them do stuff. And in this case, it was either me or my son. I honestly don't even remember, but we had to climb up a giant, one of those giant cranes like in the Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to touch the top, and then we had to come back down. And when we came back down, whoever it was, I know it was either me or my son. I can't remember, but anyways, we went over to the leader of this thing. And we did that. We're done. We're through with you. Then they ended up changing their mind that no, we got more stuff for you to do. And then somehow we ended up in this house, and I don't recognize the house. A lot of times I'll have these dreams and it'll actually be like the house I grew up in. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it was not. And then this is weird because I would never do this because my dad is my dad. I like my dad. Plus, he's the only family member that's still alive. So, but I like got in his face and like yelled at him, and my dad can barely walk. So he stumbled backwards, like in The Last Jedi where like Rey was going after Luke and he like fell backwards and he prevented himself from falling with the Force or whatever. Mm-hmm. My dad fell down, and then I heard a snap, and then I was like, oh crap. Like I broke my dad's arm or whatever it was. Well, then it was just a ruler. So then I saw there was a ruler. So then I got in his face and was like, you're not sending me back there ever again. And my dad was like, fine, I'll go to Applebee's alone. And then we had to go to Applebee's and eat. And I ended up like trailing everybody. And I was the last one to get there. And I
Did you get free steak?
No, I sat really far away from everybody, and there was a car chase too involved.
Huh.
But I don't remember that part very well. Anyways, isn't that weird? It's a weird dream.
Yeah, no wonder you're
It
asleep.
made no sense whatsoever, but for some reason I remember it. But I would never actually do that to my dad. Like I said,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a reason to. But the whole like fraternity, like kidnapping elementary kids thing was kind of bizarre. Anyways, that was a huge tangent. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay. It came up because we were talking about something here, weren't we? Oh, never even left my house on Sunday. That's what started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was a terrible story.
Yeah, you should tell it again.
Steve RC wants to know, where is Trackside, where you were talking about the locals? And Trackside is in Milwaukee.
Algonquin for the good land.
Yeah.
Does this guy know how to party or what? Or wait, is that another movie you haven't seen?
No, of course I've seen that. Good God. Did
What
you
movie
know
is it?
that Milwaukee is one of only 2 cities in the United States who's elected 2 socialist mayors?
That's right, Pete.
Dude, so you and I both been to Trackside a couple times.
Yeah.
So, poor Will. I wanted to go to a strip club.
Oh, we haven't told this story.
We have not. No, we haven't. And gosh darn it, we chose a strip club where the women got really, really mad at us.
Yeah. We wanted to sit at the bar and eat a burger and have a beer.
This strip club
then
was
maybe
supposed
go
to have really good food.
Yeah. We wanted to eat and they did have really good food.
It was delicious. It was great.
Yeah. I had a burger with a pretzel bun. That's all I wanted. I wanted that and a beer and to use my room key to get into the door or get in for free.
Yeah.
And buy some food, sit at the bar, and mind my own business, and maybe look at some naked girl boobs after.
But weren't you
naked girl boobs later? Wasn't even thinking about it.
Weren't you going with the other one? Back at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. No, I was single and ready to tingle back then.
Okay. I can't.
I was getting more ass in a toilet seat back in those days. But anyway, yeah, wasn't even thinking about naked girl boobs, but just wanted to eat a burger and have a side, maybe a beer, and then we'd get one of the pay tables and go sit with Mike Truggy or whoever else was there.
They were there.
Yeah, and have a good time.
It cost $20 to get a table over here.
Yeah.
Okay. $20. And I didn't know that if you paid $20 to get one of those tables, you'd get left alone until it was time to not be left alone.
Yeah.
Like you could eat and just enjoy yourself, and then you could figure out whatever you want to do because you paid $20.
Yeah. No,
we did not know that.
No, well, we found out.
Yeah, we found out.
Did we get kicked out? Yeah, we got kicked out. Because
we basically had to leave because we were threatened by multiple girls to get punched.
Yeah, like one of the girls, they're like, "Oh, would you like to tip me for my dance?" I'm like, "I didn't want your dance. I'm sitting over eating." And I was like, and she's like, "Oh, well, you might want to go get a table because the other girls are going to be upset when you don't tip them."
That's right.
I was like, we'll find out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
I'll take my chance.
And like the bartenders didn't even tell us that or anything. They're like, "Oh, okay, well, if you want to eat here, just have some dollar bills out because if you don't, the girls will threaten to stab you." Like, yeah, that should be the
bartender's like, "You're on your own." Like, but anyway, so then the next girl comes and she was like, "Oh, do you want to tip me for my dance?" I was like, "No, I didn't watch it." It's exactly how I said it. I wasn't paying attention. I'm not tipping you. Sorry. I was like eating a burger.
And I had barbecue sauce all over my fingers because I ordered barbecue wings.
Yeah.
I couldn't reach for $1 because I didn't have hands to do so. I was just covered with barbecue sauce. I thought that would get me off the hook.
Yeah. And I was like, "No, I'm fine."
It did not. It did not get us off the hook. It did not get me off the hook whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
it got to the point where I was so uncomfortable. I was like, we better leave.
Yeah. Well, the next one, because there's another one.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, I didn't watch your dance. I'm still eating. 5 minutes ago, like, was enough. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. And
Was that the one who threatened us? Because
that was the one that threatened us. We
Okay.
got threatened by a stripper that night.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the hotel without seeing naked girl boobs, and then me finishing in the C main in both classes.
Yeah. She wanted to cut both of our penises off. So it was time to go. I think that was the last time I've ever been to Trackside.
I think it was for you. Yeah.
For me, it was.
I went. I think I went 2 more times.
Yeah, you went with Kyle. That one.
Yeah.
You were there a couple of years ago for that Trackside for the Associated race.
Yep. So yeah, but I think the bartender finally said like, "Hey, you guys better go."
Yeah, I think
I was
you're
like,
right.
"Oh," I was like, "All right, see ya."
Yeah,
like I didn't.
it was so
care.
weird. I was so uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which is not the way it's supposed to be when you go to a strip club.
No,
You're not supposed to be uncomfortable. You're supposed to be aroused, happy.
Yeah. It's like the worst. What is it with us in strip clubs? We went to that one, and the bouncer got mad at us, and I was hammered and threatened to beat him up. And then they're like, "All right, you guys we better go." And like Kyle picks me up like a toddler, like underneath my armpits, and takes me back to the truck.
I was having fun that night too.
Yeah,
I came ready to go. I had like $50 in dollar bills and
yeah, we did
free
spend
beer.
a couple hours there.
Yeah, we did. It was good. Let's see. Where am I picking up at? Jackson Anderson said there was going to be at least said there was going to be 5 rounds of the INS next year. So there should be 4 rounds and a final.
Nice.
Wade Garing's on here, says, "Sup, fellas." Tomcat's on here, or was on here. Bob Thorpe from the Pits is on here. Rob says, "HobbyPlex bucket list." Thank you. Make sure it's the right one.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original.
I think I even put that in my post today. The original.
Nice. Are you clipping parts trees? No. You were clipping your foams there.
It's punching holes in foams.
Ugh. It's like my least favorite thing to do. One of my least favorite things to do.
You end up with something, a honeycomb pattern, kind of like that.
And that's for your gas truck?
Yeah, for outdoor. Okay. I don't know. I have these sprinters, you see, and I don't know. I have those and double Ds. I don't know what I'm going to run.
Yeah.
And I have some sprinters mounted up with open cell, like you see here, and I have some mounted up with closed cell. I don't know what I'm walking into. I heard it's loamy dirt, so I'm assuming the double D. I wish I had some Goosebumps.
Did you see?
Goosebumps.
Well, I know you want to run J Concepts tires. Never mind. On Marketplace here in Omaha, this guy I know, he posted 4 pairs of red Ifmar pin truck tires, brand new in the package for sale. He posted like 4 pairs of pink compound buggy taper pins, green compound BK bars, and then he had 2 full pairs of Losi Boss Claws, which is a 2.2 crawling tire.
Ooh.
They're still on. I doubt anybody's gonna buy them, but
yeah.
I might still text him. Depending on how if he still got them by Friday and I get a big check, I'm gonna be like, dude, I'll take them. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, nope. Gotta stay loyal here. That's,
I know.
Yeah, I always do.
I have I've got 2 pairs of red.
And these are gonna work good. I know
got
they will.
2 pairs of red Ifmar studs, brand new in the package.
That's what the Goosebumps are like.
Yeah. Goosebumps get a little stretchy.
Oh,
for me.
No, they don't. I use those all the time. I used to.
I remember them the last time I used them on truck. I thought Goosebumps were a little stretchy. I thought that's why we got flip outs.
Oh.
Anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever. Ben Dinger said, always run redundancy when you can. Been an IT engineer for 24 years. Never fails to fail. So, yeah, I know. Jackson said he finished his main with a fully cracked A-arm.
Nice.
Nice.
That was a nitro buggy.
I think so, yeah. Tom Rennerneck was on here. He says, what's up, Will? Nice run this weekend.
Thanks.
John Haas says he was pretty scared for you on that one, Will, but you drove away just fine. And let's see. And then he says, gas truck was so much fun to watch. Turbo Freak is on here trying to find an RC8 BE gearbox case.
That's the original RC8?
I think so. I don't
Yeah.
know. Good luck.
That's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be tough. John Haas says that his Lizard also does the same thing, but he's a terrible swimmer. Terrible swimmer, but he doesn't drown. So there you go. Jackson Anderson says the dude with the guy with the X-Max purposely hit his e-buggy every time they got near him, and he was just laughing, saying, gotcha. See, that makes me even more upset, because those guys knew that they weren't supposed to be up there.
Yeah.
And then when they got confronted on it, they passed it off to that dude who kind of got in my face a little bit, it seemed like, and they kept running. So it's almost like they distracted me, you know? That's why I stopped practice like a minute early, because I was just like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
So, and Jared was in that practice session too. He just left. So, John Haas, Will, do you glue your foams to the wheel for truck?
No.
Okay. And finally, Rob the Mouth says, for sure, I talked to Will, so I'm in good hands. Alex, the OG Plex. Yep, exactly. The original Plex.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all the comments we got. So, Tekno Series, round 1, 2021, 2022 in the books. Next week will just be a regular race weekend. We'll catch up with you about your weekend, going down to Race Gas Truck Outdoors.
Yeah, I'm driving down to Chad Park's house on Thursday night, and then Friday morning we're going to drive down to Oklahoma.
Yep. And
then practice Friday. All the racing will be on Saturday, and then we'll come back Saturday night.
Yay. I am still trying to get some people that I know lined up for a couple like one-on-one interviews for our Patreon page.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we were trying to get guests on tonight, and it didn't work out. So stay tuned, because it won't be just us all the time. But we were thinking about trying to get a guest or two on here. But I'm still trying to do the thing for the Patreon page, just because our 4 Patreon members, Peter, Jason, Steve, and Nick, they're starting us off. But once we get that going, I think it'll be more than just a tip for Will and I. You'll actually have some content to listen to. So,
yeah. Hey, do I have any internet money?
Yeah, a little bit.
How much?
We just got our Patreon today, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Could I have my internet money?
Yeah. Just got to PayPal to you.
Yeah. Could you? I need it.
Okay.
For this weekend.
Okay.
It's like a 401k you can draw out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've only gotten internet money one time. And that one time you paid for food for me.
Yeah. Okay.
That was it. It should be like
and the hotel.
Couple thousand. Oh yeah, and
the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it? Is that all we got? I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's my truck, the winning truck.
The winning truck.
Yeah. Just nothing special, It's pretty cool. But I sent Chad my setup sheet.
Did you see? What is it? JBRL that had a pretty good gas truck class this weekend too.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Chad and I were at one time we were talking about going out there for one of those. Dude, making the national tour of gas truck racing.
I'd like to go to another JBRL in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Use my vacation and get out there. The problem is that I not right now. The whole flying thing right now bothers me. I don't want to wear a mask the whole time.
So what you got to do to go somewhere?
And I don't want to go to California.
Oh.
Like those two things together, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Not that I'm anti any of that. I just, it's nice being here where you generally don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'd be badass to go out there in the middle of winter for a gas truck race outside.
Oh, yeah. No, totally.
You kidding me?
Yeah. It'd
be bad to the bone, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about it.
And it'd be a California race without, the expensive entry fees of a Reedy race.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That was the fun part about doing the J. Burrell the 2 weeks after the Reedy race, was that it was the same layout. It was just same layout, but just more classes, kind of a different atmosphere.
Well, then you probably got to drive more.
I did get to drive a lot more. Yeah, both Emerson and I both did.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, so check this out. Just to show how awesome our Midwest guys are, the Jimmy Babcock Racing League had 181 entries.
Wow.
109 drivers.
How many we have?
We had
120 some drivers.
129 drivers and 239 entries.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. All right. This show's been brought to you by Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at pivotlending.com. And you mention our show to Don Zoller or Aiden Olson's dad, and you can get yourself $500 lender credit or 0.125 off your interest rate. And they've been a sponsor. They've been able to bring us weekly because this isn't free. My sister owns Webrise.com, and they're the ones that produce the show. They give us this awesome soundproof booth to be in. They got all the equipment. They're the ones that get us on YouTube and all that stuff. So Pivot Lending has been paying for that so that we can get on every single week instead of once a month like we were going to do. So that's why your Patreon would be important if you want to become a Patreon member and just support the show that way, or every once in a while throw in a super chat, whatever you need to do. But we enjoy coming to you, and even when stuff goes weird like it did Saturday, seems like everything still works out in the end. So there you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, we better bail.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
I like, by the way, I don't know, my sister's listening. I actually like the head, the more close up shot on me.
Yeah.
I don't like the far away shot because you guys can see you guys can see all my fat rolls.
Yeah. It's a little more personable. It's like you're having the conversation with you, not you're in the room.
Right. From here down, I'm the only problem is I'm watching the screen instead of watching the camera more, but I'll figure that part out. So, anyways, all right. Well, that's all I got.
See you guys.